The Pacific Ocean has always been a place where secrets disappear. Its surface appears calm and endless, reflecting the sky like a mirror, but beneath it lies a crushing darkness where pressure destroys steel, silence swallows sound, and history is buried without witnesses. For centuries, ships have vanished, aircraft have disappeared, and entire crews have been erased as if they never existed, yet few secrets resting in those depths rival what sank beneath the waves in the late 1960s, an event that would quietly ignite one of the most daring and expensive intelligence operations ever attempted by the United States. In February of 1968, at the height of the Cold War, a Soviet ballistic missile submarine known as K-129 slipped away from its base on the Kamchatka Peninsula. It was part of the Golf II class, a critical component of Soviet nuclear deterrence, carrying 3 nuclear-armed ballistic missiles and a crew of 98 men. Missions like this were routine. Submarines departed, disappeared beneath the waves, and returned weeks later without ceremony. But this patrol would never end. Shortly after crossing the international date line, K-129 suffered a catastrophic failure deep beneath the Pacific. There was no distress call. No explosion on the surface. 98 men, nuclear weapons, and one of the Soviet Union's most valuable military assets simply vanished. The Soviet response was immediate and desperate. Warships and aircraft flooded the North Pacific in one of the largest naval search efforts of the era. Losing a nuclear submarine without explanation was not only a tragedy, but a strategic nightmare. Weeks passed, then months, and still nothing was found. What the Soviet Navy did not know was that the United States had already detected the submarine's final moments. Deep beneath the ocean, the U.S. Navy operated a classified underwater acoustic surveillance network known as SOSUS. Designed to listen for the faint sounds of Soviet submarines, it monitored vast areas of ocean continuously. In early 1968, analysts detected an unusual acoustic event, sharp and violent, consistent with a submarine implosion. By triangulating the signal, they pinpointed its origin. The conclusion was extraordinary. A Soviet nuclear submarine had been lost, and the United States knew where it rested. As the Soviets eventually abandoned the search and declared the crew lost at sea, American intelligence officials saw opportunity instead of tragedy. Resting nearly 3 miles below the surface was an intelligence prize beyond imagination: nuclear warheads, missile guidance systems, encryption equipment, and insights into Soviet naval strategy. Recovering it could provide intelligence worth more than years of espionage. The obstacle was obvious. No nation had ever recovered an object that large from such a depth. At 16,000 feet, pressure reaches thousands of pounds per square inch. Steel collapses. Electronics fail. Human presence is impossible. Even reaching such depths reliably pushed the limits of existing technology. Yet the potential reward was too great to ignore. After intense debate, the CIA proposed a plan so ambitious it bordered on science fiction. With personal approval from President Richard Nixon, the agency launched a mission so secret that even many senior officials were never informed. It became known as Project Azorian. This was not simply a salvage operation. It was a deep-sea intelligence heist that required entirely new engineering solutions. Systems had to be invented, tested, and deployed in total secrecy. Equally critical, the operation had to remain invisible to the Soviet Union. Any indication that the United States was attempting to recover the submarine could trigger an international crisis. A conventional recovery fleet was impossible. The CIA needed a cover story so convincing that it could withstand scrutiny from journalists and foreign intelligence agencies alike. That cover came from one of America's most enigmatic figures, billionaire industrialist Howard Hughes. Known for his secrecy and obsession with ambitious engineering projects, Hughes was the perfect shield. The CIA announced he was building a revolutionary deep-sea mining vessel designed to extract manganese nodules from the ocean floor. The ship would be called the Hughes Glomar Explorer. To the public, it seemed like another eccentric but plausible Hughes venture. To reinforce the deception, real scientists were hired, research programs funded, and media briefings held on the future of ocean mining. In reality, the Glomar Explorer was a Trojan horse. Hidden within its massive hull was a large internal chamber known as the moon pool, allowing equipment to be raised and lowered while concealed from view. Inside was a colossal mechanical device nicknamed Clementine, a giant claw designed to descend miles into the ocean and grasp the wreckage of K-129. The ship also featured a revolutionary dynamic positioning system, allowing it to hover precisely over a single point in open ocean despite waves and currents. After years of preparation, the Glomar Explorer sailed in the summer of 1974 toward a remote location nearly 1,500 miles northwest of Hawaii. Almost immediately, Soviet surveillance ships appeared nearby, watching closely. On board, tension was constant. Every movement had to look like mining. Every piece of equipment had to remain hidden. Lowering Clementine was agonizing. Steel pipe sections were added one by one, forming a fragile column stretching miles into darkness. Engineers monitored stress levels constantly, knowing a single failure could end the mission. After days of descent, the claw reached the ocean floor and closed around the submarine. For the first time in 6 years, K-129 was no longer alone in the abyss. As recovery began, optimism grew. But deep below the surface, under extreme strain, disaster struck. One of the claw's massive tines failed. A large portion of the submarine broke free and plunged back into the depths, taking with it what was believed to be the most valuable intelligence. On board, silence followed. Years of planning and billions of dollars seemed lost in seconds. Despite the failure, the CIA chose to continue. The remaining section of the submarine was successfully raised into the moon pool, hidden from Soviet view. Inside, American personnel discovered the remains of 6 Soviet sailors. In a rare moment of humanity during the Cold War, they were given a formal military burial at sea with full honors. The ceremony was filmed and decades later shared with Russia. Although Project Azorian did not achieve its primary intelligence objectives, it was still a stunning demonstration of American technological capability. The operation remained secret until 1975, when leaked documents reached the Los Angeles Times. When questioned, the CIA issued a statement that would become legendary, saying it could neither confirm nor deny the project's existence. The Glomar response entered history. Today, Project Azorian remains one of the most extraordinary operations ever conducted in silence. It was a story of ambition, secrecy, and technological audacity, carried out in one of the most hostile environments on Earth. Somewhere in the Pacific, fragments of K-129 still rest in darkness, but the mission to recover it forever changed how nations viewed the limits of power and engineering. It proved that during the Cold War, some of the most decisive battles were fought not with weapons, but in silence, beneath the waves, where history listens but never speaks.